The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Good evening, friends. What's going on? It's your boy E Buck in the building, talking to you on this holiday weekend. Hoping everybody is doing well and most importantly, being safe out there right now. Uh, I am here talking to you guys because it is Sunday, and for once this weekend, I have the energy to actually do my podcast, which is the I Am Nighthawk podcast. Thank you guys who are checking in to see what's going on, and those of you who will be viewing this later on to see what's good with me. To give you guys a quick update on my health because we're not gonna make this a long show today. We're gonna try not to. But basically things are going better. I have changed medications again. The blood pressure is definitely doing a lot better the last 5 to 7 days. Still having some side effect issues. I'm interested to see how this week goes. Seeing it's gonna be the first week here in Detroit where it's actually like very warm outside. And just from having experienced that with my mother back in the day, I know that people on these blood pressure medications tend to feel a little scuzzy at times when it gets warm. So I have to see how that plays out. It is interesting in the subject that I'll bring up a wee bit later in regards to somebody who basically has some of the same similar things go on with them and how I related so much to that and how I'm looking at my life as opposed to the life of my mother and how some of that also seems to have some same similarities in regards to certain things. So that being said, overall I'm doing good. Like I said, I have more good days than bad days. This week will be a busy week for me, so I'm hoping that the bad days are for the most part behind me and that we don't have to do a lot more switching and mixing and matching of medications. Although I do have to switch doctors, insurance issue, whole nother story for another show. But overall, doing good. Hope you guys are doing well as well. I've seen some of you guys' holiday pictures thus far. Good to see you guys enjoying yourselves and having a good time. I want to shout out a few people in particular. Shout out to you, Miss Heather. You know who you are. Good to see you with your family doing well and things going good for you guys. I'm very happy about that. Shout out to my bestie, my sister in life, Miss Stacy Hogan, having a good time today. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to my goddaughter out there in Houston, Texas for the weekend. Please be safe but have fun. Love you, miss you. And to the rest of you guys here on the network, of course, I definitely hope you guys are having a great holiday and get some quality grub. I'm actually taking a break for the moment to do the show, and when I get done, I'm off to finish some greens that I'm cooking for tomorrow. But that being said, good people, we are here tonight to talk two subjects today, just two for you today. I will be doing a Thursday show. I will tell you what that's going to be about at the end of the show. First subject we have to talk about is we lost somebody of great importance yet again this week. Unfortunately, it seems like it's a weekly occurrence now. You know, they say death comes in threes, and it seems like this particular time we lost a great icon, of course, the legendary anime bully, who, of course, the world for the most part knew as Miss Tina Turner. We lost her middle of the week. I must admit, I was kind of shocked when I found out in the middle of my day, as oftentimes these things seem to take place. And I find out in the middle of the day when I'm doing something. Hi, brother, I love you. Hey, Aunt Nikki, I am so glad you are tuning in. Thank you so much. I miss you very much. I really do. We definitely have to chop it up sometime soon. I know, much like myself, you've been very busy, but I appreciate you checking in on a brother. Thank you so much out there in the town known as Philadelphia. Got to get out there one day when I get past this whole not wanting to travel thing. But discussions for another day. But anyway, yeah, we lost Miss Tina Turner, and I gotta tell you, it hurt me. It hurt me because, you know, we are losing our icons slowly but surely, the people that we grew up idolizing and knowing well and what have you. I'm sorry I haven't been around. I've been working, so I completely understand, sister. I too have been getting it in. Between that and dealing with these medications and whatnot, it's been kind of difficult for me too. So I completely understand. Trust me, it's all good. I know you love me. I know if you need me, you call me. I know if you need to check on me, you call me. You do have the number. I am cool with that. Um, yeah, but when we lost Tina, I must admit I did shed a few tears. I think part of it is just from the fact that we losing too many folks of late that meant things to my life, and just the fact that I'm still, adjusting to the loss of my mother. Of course, living in her home, which she had for many years, is kind of hard not to be daily reminded of her. I try my best not to let it haunt me, but certain things kind of trigger that. And losing Tina, somebody that I know she admired as well, uh, also kind of took me there for a moment that day. So it was kind of a bad day after that. So I really wanted to do a tribute that particular day, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And then I also wanted to take the time to kind of revisit her life a little bit. I took the time watch her documentary Tina, which you can find on Max, no longer HBO Max, but Max. If you have HBO Max, it's now Max. You just basically got to do a little update, and you're still good. Also, there has been tributes by many of her peoples that she came to know. She had an interesting list of friends that people that knew of her and knew her, but then there were some of those who really knew her. One person that I was kind of surprised that she was very good friends with was Cher. But of course, I come to find out, basically her and Cher kind of shared a common bond of sorts when you think about the marriage situation. Of course, we will get into that. But truly a gift to us. I mean, she was blessed enough to live 83 years of this life. Keep in mind, that's something none of us should take for granted because we losing young people every day. So somebody was blessed enough to make it to 83 despite everything that she went through is definitely something that we should be thankful for, even though we feel like she still left us a little too soon. Uh, Basically, let's just give you a quick overview. Tina Turner was born Anime Bullock in a town that will forever be famous thanks to her, that being Nutbush, Tennessee, a place that maybe has maybe 1,000 people, if that. Uh, just the middle of nowhere, America, so to speak. But from those ashes came a mighty, mighty rose, that being her. Her early life, as some of you probably now know from those of you who have been paying attention to the tributes and documentaries, she basically was left by her parents on a couple different occasions, left with her grandparents, one set of which was very church going folks. And that's how she came to know music, growing up in the church, as many of our great singers from back in the day have come to know music. She, of course, at one point did get back with her parents, and her parent, I believe it was her mother, moved them to St. Louis, Missouri, where she basically spent her teenage and early adulthood in St. Louis. That I didn't know. I was not aware of that. And she moved on to meet a young gentleman at one of her clubs that she liked to frequent, a man by the name of Ike Turner. And then that formed a friendship that eventually formed into a relationship that eventually formed into a marriage and a whole different way of life. Of course, we talk about her and Ike Turner. Got a few photos of them. Tina was a beautiful woman, by the way. You basically really don't understand that to the degree until you see some of these earlier photos. I mean, even in her older days, Tina was beautiful as far as I was concerned. But just looking at some of those photos, and you know, we're talking the 50s, 60s, where music was a little different. And of course, being a musician, particularly a musician of color, was different as well. I really need y'all to look at that picture in particular. That picture says a lot without saying anything at all. in terms of how she really felt in that moment. Just look at his face, look at her face, the body. Of course, we all know what eventually happened with Ike and Tina in terms of the tumultuous relationship. Hey, friend Amy, glad to see you. Thank you for checking in. I miss you guys. Shout out to your beautiful daughter Ruby. Hey, brother, just checking in with you. Okay, now of course I got to see who that is. That is somebody checking in from the network. I finally figured out why some people show up as themselves and some people show up merely as a Facebook user, as you see there. So I need to actually go there. Oh, hold on, people. Ah, Pastor Red in the building. What's going on? What's going on, Big Red? Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you, bro. Okay, the thing is, the tumultuous relationship, the abuse that she suffered at the hands of Ike, and there's like different viewpoints of that. There's the what's love got to do with it, her biopic version of it, and of course there's the I Tina, her book that she wrote, basically that was eventually became the movie. And then of course there are the later interviews of after the fact where she goes into more details at time of just how bad that situation was. The thing is, during that time, Ike and Tina, they were musicians, they were world famous. They did have hits, but nothing to the major that Ike wanted. And oftentimes he blamed her for that situation. What we learned later on in life that Ike suffered from bipolar disorder. And for any of you who have dealt with anybody who's bipolar, you do know that that is a very hard thing to contend with. On the one hand, that person that you care about very much is your friend, your loved one. But on the other hand, on other days, they just not with you because they're not with them. And it's hard to love somebody like that that is so different from day to day. You could ask Kim Kardashian, for example, about that scenario. But what eventually happened was, for as bad as it was, it got worse because eventually drugs came into the picture. In particular, Tina says that it got to a point where Ike was on a deadly cocaine binge. And it's, one of the things one of the documentaries said that he was introduced to that drug by Elvis Presley, allegedly. Now, understand, that's what they said in the documentary, and I think they get that information from the book itself. So I don't see why Tina would lie about that, but I know some people that's not going to sit well with Elvis and the drug thing. But I go to people like Red Fox and some of those stories, and some of the people of non-color that was involved in his life, and some of the bad things that basically was connected to him in regards to that, with some of those icons. Another story for another day. Nonetheless, I think when you look at Tina Turner's life, the two things you basically remember is the music, and for her bravery and stepping away from that situation and moving on with her life. Because when people learn that story, I think it inspired many people to finally get help for being in abusive relationships. Hopefully, even now, that story will inspire those of you who might be in a bad way with someone to say, okay, I deserve better. This is not what should be happening to me. I need to be loved correctly, not abusively. And I think that probably is her biggest legacy in life. I mean, she oftentimes talked about in her later life that she really didn't like to relive that story. She hates that she basically became more famous for that than her music at times, and that she had to regurgitate that story over and over again in certain parts of it. You can tell she still had a love for Ike in his later years. I mean, Ike basically went from bad to worse after Tina left him. Part of the scenario was that Ike was doing things for people and they utilized his talents. And as a result, he was very distrustful of folks, particularly of Tina for whatever reason, because I think he realized that for as talented a musician as he was, she was far more talented than he, and that basically he tried to keep her down to a certain degree because he felt like eventually she would outgrow him, and it's pretty much exactly what happened. Although it did take her time to get into her new career, understand once she left Ike, for a time she had been told by the record people that you basically have aged out your usefulness here. There are not a lot of 40-year-old singers doing big numbers these days. So we don't feel like you really have a career at this point. So we can only do so much for you. Understand we're talking about the early 80s. As you know, that's a whole different story now. There's a lot of older artists making buku money out here because not only are they still living off their hits from the glory days, but they also coming out with new stuff and reinventing themselves with other artists and what have you. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. But I think what really happened was when Tina proved them all wrong and ended up doing the "What's Love Got to Do with It" soundtrack, which ultimately led to her only number one hit, which is crazy when you think about Tina Turner's musical catalog. You would have figured she had at least 4 or 5 number one hits, but only one number one hit. And I was also surprised to learn that Tina Turner also had won 12 Grammys. That puts her top 10 all time in terms of Grammy winners, in terms of amount of Grammys won. That's pretty impressive, actually. And of course, her big year was the year that What's Love Got to Do with It came out. The album known as Private Dancer. That album did big numbers. She won 3 Grammys that year, including Song of the Year for What's Love Got to Do with It. And she moved on from there. Of course, there was the many live shows that she did. And when it comes to being an entertainer on stage, few people rivaled one Miss Tina Turner. Definitely, a lot of people had said that going to her concert was one of the best concerts that they had ever been to in terms of the energy and the overall performances and what have you. Of course, in later life, Tina basically used her musical talents and what have you to help create the Tina Turner musical Tina, which also did big numbers, particularly overseas, which is another interesting part of her story when you think about how basically once all her big hits in the 80s jumped off and she got into her early 50s at that point, she decided to leave America and go live in, of all places, Switzerland, where she spent the bottom half of her life for the most part, living out her life with a man 20 years her junior, a man of non-color, a white man, if you will. Just basically somebody that seemed to be a total opposite of Ike Turner. And, on the one hand, could you blame him? After all that happened, after how it all went down after the fact, how basically at times people in America kind of wrote her off for dead for my whole thing is she had these friends in the music industry. I feel like more of them should have looked out for her then, knowing the situation. I mean, it was not a secret to those that were close to Ike and Tina that things were going on behind the scenes that were not good at all. And as opposed to you know, helping out and trying to get that situation righted, it was a kind of a don't ask, don't tell type thing with them. And basically, when it all broke off, there was not a lot of people stepping up in Tina's defense at that time. Of course, people came to love Tina and was very much uh, basically inspired by her story of growth and basically coming back to be a better version of yourself. Now, of course, what we have not really focused on is the fact that in her later years, and like in the last 8 to 10 years, she's had several health problems, including being on dialysis for a time, eventually getting a kidney replacement, getting a kidney from her husband, and basically had problems such as what I have now with my blood pressure and things of that nature, because she did not contend with it properly, and then at some point, like many older people seem to do, decide to just stop taking the medications altogether and just see how you feel based on that. That is usually a formula that's going to put you in a bad place. Don't know if that's what eventually happened that caused her death, or basically just a combination of all the health problems finally got the better of her. There was a actual post that she posted a few weeks prior to her death. I will track that down for you guys right quickly, because I basically discovered Tina Turner's Instagram page, which is basically growing by the day, mind you. This is what she said. Let me see if I can find that for you guys. Well, of course, there's been several posts put on her Instagram page since then, so I am kind of at a loss. Because, yeah, these are several different photos that I did not see prior to that message. All right, so okay, here we go. This was basically a couple weeks ago, she says, 11 weeks ago, to be precise. Today is World Kidney Day. Why is it important? Because kidneys fail without pain. And that's why I'm telling you today, show your kidneys some love, they deserve it. I have put myself in great danger by refusing to face the reality that I need daily, lifelong therapy with medication. For far too long, I believed that my body was an untouchable and indestructible basin. Basically saying that, she relied on her religion. And as you know, she was a Buddhist. And basically, it teaches you to, your body is your temple, and basically to work things from within without the medications or whatnot. It was a recipe for not good things. So when all is said and done, perhaps that is what led to her ultimate demise. Perhaps it was just the fact that she had lived a good long 83 years and it was time to move on. But all being said, I am very grateful for Tina Turner and her inspiration to so many people all over the world, people of color and non-color and otherwise, for stepping up and being an icon and being someone that we could be proud of and basically look up to in terms of what she did and what she accomplished and who she was as a person. Like I said, I know her many Hollywood type friends and people outside the business will miss her very much. She had an energy that was matched by very few people in this life, and we will miss her. And of course, we are blessed to have all her great music to live on through, and her to live on through it. So, basically, like I said, check out the book, check out the documentaries, listen to the catalog. Let's run up the numbers. Who knows? Enough people catch on, we might be able to get her numbers on the, get her one of her songs on the chart one more time. That'd be kind of cool. But anyway, that is my tribute to Miss Tina Turner, Miss Anna Mae Bullock. Rest in paradise, Queen. In the meanwhile, I will take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I do have a quick message for the class of 2023. That is my second item up for bid today. I want to talk to y'all graduates, give y'all some quick things to think about as you move forward in this life. This is I Am Nighthawk, and I, of course, am that guy. And we'll be right back after these words from my Nighthawk Network.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
Let's talk.
Hey, this is Eric Buckner here in the Nighthawk Network studios. And for those of you that have pet care, grooming, and vet needs, we want you to contact here in the Detroit area, Meet You There Pet Care. That's Meet You There Pet Care LLC. The phone number is 313-471-4970. So for those of you that have pet care needs here in the Detroit area, please contact Meet You There Pet Care. They will get you situated with all your home pet care, grooming, and vet tech services. And do know that we want to promote all small and minority businesses here in the Nighthawk Network. Make sure you contact me on the Nighthawk Network Detroit page or on Eric Buckner Messenger or Eric Hawk 45 Instagram to get your thing promoted here on the network. Thank you. Have a good one. Back on the I Am Nighthawk podcast, what's going on? This is E-Buck in the building, talking to you guys. Thank you for checking in and checking on me. I appreciate you who have hopped in and basically gave it a quick view. I know you can't always sit and watch the whole show, but I always appreciate when you come on and say a quick hi and put a quick message. Keep in mind, if you're catching this live, we appreciate you for catching this in the rebroadcast. We appreciate that. If you leave your comments, I usually comment back even after on the rebroadcast, so feel free to do so. We just like to know that you came in, you saw, and you was appreciative of me being around. That being said, we are going to talk to the class of 2023. As you know, many of our young people are graduating or either have graduated from college, about to graduate from high school, middle school, elementary school, preschool. Yeah, even that's a thing. Nonetheless, this is my little quick message to the class of 2023. At least we'll try to keep it somewhat quick. Congratulations, first and foremost, you have graduated from your graded school and are moving on to the next level, whatever that may be. That is not an accomplishment that we should take for granted, particularly those of you who look like me. Remember, there was once upon a time here in America where we, in certain parts of this country, were not allowed to educate ourselves whatsoever. We were not to learn a ABC, a 1, 2, 3, or none of the above. So the fact that we are able to do that freely is a blessing that we should not take for granted. We're not learning all the things that we need to know these days. We know that. We also have to remember the fact that you guys have lived through a pandemic, and some of you basically have skipped out on things that you will never make up. It is crazy for how we're spending all this time concerned about the deficits and whatnot, and have completely ignored the fact that during the pandemic, many people missed months, maybe even a year of school. And some people never made that up. There were never even provisions made to make that up. Understand, some of you are very fortunate because you are going to college or high school and don't have to have certain requirements that you would have had to in the past because of said pandemic. So actually, it may be a blessing for some of you who basically would not be in college if not for them skipping over such things. The day and ages of the SAT and ACT being as important are definitely gone now. Also understand the world is constantly changing on us young people, so much so that there is a thing called AI, and we will talk about that on the next episode, where there are things that you won't be required to do anymore because the world of computers will do them for you. And as a result, you probably don't need to learn some of the things that you have learned. They won't be necessary, but we have learned as a society as we move forward that some of the things we learned back 20, 30 years ago when I was in school, not really relevant. And sadly, one of them seems to be our history. That's constantly being rewritten every day with the CRTs being outlawed and the many books being banned across the country for whatever reasons. Your understandings will be different than our understandings when it comes to things because certain things you will be excluded from. And it's not like you're going to go back and find out what you missed. Most of you will not do that. Also understand, for those of you moving on to college, you may learn that basically college was just a place you was meant to visit, a place that you were basically supposed to learn a little bit and move forward. You should not feel completely obligated to go to college for exactly what you have plotted out for right now. Many of us learned that when we went to college and graduated, we basically were not necessarily suited for what we graduate for. We're better off doing other things. Many Americans have learned that lesson as time went on. There is the majority of us who basically went to college and went on to do other things in life. Some of y'all, college ain't for you at all. Not day one, not day 500. You never have stepped foot in it whatsoever. And it's okay, because just like in life we need doctors and lawyers, we also need plumbers and garbage people and everything else. So if in the end that's what you were meant to do, or that's what you end up doing, and you're successful with it, you live a happy life and you're able to pay your bills on time, more power to you. Do not feel bad about it. Because yeah, I understand, you have the expectations of your household who say you should be doing this and that and that. But in the end, remember, it's your life. And also remember, the world is changing day by day. 10, 20 years from now, some of the jobs that you are looking to do now may no longer even exist. You may have to do something else because what you're doing is being done by computer now, or it's been basically deemed unnecessary. Who knows? Just know that wherever you're moving on to, whether it be middle school, high school, college, the after college, what have you, just do your best to be the best version of you could be. And also remember that the world is evolving and your life will evolve as well. Remember that what you think about now at 18, 14, 12, whatever the case may be a lot different thought process 20, 30 years from now. And it's okay to change your mind or to evolve, leave other people behind, or gain other people in the process. It is completely all right to do that. And, listen to some of your elders who have been through this life and have learned a few things, because there's lessons to be learned from that. We then kind of got away from that at times, feeling like, okay, in this newer version of 18, we really do know everything. Don't you think we kind of felt like that too? We did. In some cases, we were right. In most cases, we weren't. And in most of you guys' cases, it'll be the same. Life is a continuing learning process. Always continue to learn in that process. That is my message to you, the class of 2023. Good luck and keep it moving. And for all of you, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you on my episode, which I hope to do Thursday. Busy week. And, again, I plan on doing these shows, but depending on how I feel that day, based on medications, sunlight, what have you, it may not go down. But the intention is to come on Thursday, do a show. On that show, we're going to talk about this thing called AI and how it has taken over 2023 in our discussions. And also, for those of you who are fans of the show Power, to Friday, they finally aired the final episode for this season. Of course, it has been leaked online. So some of y'all saw it before that. And for a couple of y'all that did the spoiler, shame on you. But I'm giving the rest of you a chance to watch it. You got till Thursday. After that Thursday, I'm coming on. I'm talking about this season. This season was definitely the best season of this particular franchise of Power, and I think one of the best seasons of any of them overall. And I will tell you why. I'll give you some of my thoughts. If any of you want to come on and talk about Power with me, I offer that invitation. I would not mind having a co-host for that part of the show. So feel free to hit me up and let me know if you are a Power fan. You want to come kick it with me about it. And if not, then it's cool. Just listen to us. Until that time, I want y'all to have a great weekend. For the most part, here in Detroit, it's been safe and without a lot of incidents. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way wherever you are in this world of ours. Keep it safe. Enjoy yourself. Remember, Memorial Day is to memorialize those people who we have lost in times of war. So for my Uncle A, who we lost in the Vietnam War, and for all of you who have had loved ones lost in times of war and even in times of peace as a military person, thank you for those of you for your service who are still currently in the military, by the way. We need to remember this day is truly for you guys. So until next time we meet again, be safe, be blessed, don't be stressed. Let the Lord deal with the rest. I'm your boy E-Buck the Nighthawk. I'm about to go cook these greens. And I am out. Deuces.